Hello ladies, back again for another video of the poor old Hilux who needs some TLC. Anyway, today what I'm doing is putting in a USB plug so I don't have to use bulky ugly adapters like that, because they just really annoy me. And you put it in the cigarette lighter there and it keeps popping out and moving, and so when I'm driving I realise my phone's not charging and I've got to give it a bit of a wiggle. So I decided, yes, today we will install one of these, and it's really simple. So I'll just change my setting so I can put some flash on, and let's get to it. Okay, now we have a bit of light on the topic. Get rid of these car smellies. First of all, we need to remove this panel here so that we can work easier with the wiring underneath. So all that is, if you can tell what I'm looking at here, so there's my dash. So we just want this panel underneath where the plug's going to go. So the plug's going to go in here. Underneath here, we need to pull this off. So all it is on each side of it, there are lugs like this that go into the little holes. Let me move the camera a bit more. There we go. So all I do is put my hand behind the panel and pop, and then these lugs come flying out. So that's all we have to do, and then it's just clipped in at the top. So you just give it a bit of a firm pull like that, and that's it. And the panel is gone, and now we've got more room to move. The next thing we do is remove one of these covers where we want the plug to go. So I'm actually going to put it in this side so any passengers can use it quite easily, and I don't have things flopping around my feet. So you just put a screwdriver in the top and budge it out like that, and there we go. So that is where it's going to go. Now you think I'd clean it first, but oh, there we go, we'll pretend that's clean. Now with these, they have a, there we go, an inline fuse already built into the positive, and they're joined together with a plug. So I've already pre-joined that. So all I'm going to do now is feed the wire. I've taped the two ends together so it's easier to grab. Sorry, I had to stop and start that. I don't want my clips to go longer than 2 minutes. Easier for me to edit later. Anyway, back to the story. So I've taped the two ends of the wires together, and now I'm just going to feed them into that little slot there. And put my hand up underneath. Now doing this one-handed is a bit tricky. And I'm going to pull it through the bottom. Feed it all in. And pop the plug in place, and there we have it. Now it's time to hook the wires up. Now you can kind of cheat doing this. I'll just pause my video and move to a better position. Okay, so the next thing we have to do, now remember we've got our wires hanging out here. The next thing we're going to do is remove this panel which is underneath the steering wheel. So I can get to all the wires. Now under here is all my wires. So I'm going to cheat with this. What I'm going to do is use a fuse location like this one. I'll just take this tape off. Okay, so I've taken the tape off. So I'm going to use a already current fuse location. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat, because that's what I do. I always cheat. And no, I won't have any electrical fires, don't stress. So I'm going to fold that over. Okay, I'm going to fold the wire over, the strip wire. And all I'm going to do is feed it down. When you look inside a fuse plug, hang on a minute. Oh. Next to the red wire there, you'll see the other loop of the the crimp that holds it in place. So I'm going to feed this into that other loop and create my positive connection. And I'll do that now. I'll just have to hang on a moment. Okay, so I don't know if my phone's going to balance there very well or not, so I'll have to be careful not to drop it. But I'm just going to feed that into the positive of that fuse and push it in hard, and that's going to give me a positive connection. Now what I'm going to also do, hang on a moment, because I can't see. Oh, it's getting warm today. Summer is here. I'll feed that into there. I'm going to get a cable tie to strap the two wires together, and then I'm going to put just a drop of silicone in the top to hold it firm so it doesn't fall out. Once I've done that though, let me pick up this phone. I'll show you where the earth is. Now, when you earth your electricals in your car, you want a really good earth. Now, let me grab my car keys here. All right, you want a good earth. So, okay, my car is now live. We'll unplug that because we're not going to want that anymore. A good earth is anything that connects to the chassis, okay? So, we're going to have our positive in here. I'm actually going to feed it around the back, don't worry, so you won't see it. Our positive will be in here, and our earth, anywhere to the chassis, is going to be this nut here, this bolt. So if you keep an eye on our new little thing up there, our new little plug, when I touch the earth, we're going to get a connection. You see that? So that's where we're going to earth it to. Okay, let me feed the wires through where they're supposed to go. Put a bit of silicone on there and tape, cable tie, and put it on the nut, and then we'll put it back together. Okay, so I've put a little cable tie around our positive wire there to the wire that was already in the fuse, just to hold it steady. I'm still going to silicone that in place with a non-conductive stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. Now this earth lead, I've put a little loop in it. I've put a loop in it so the bolt has something to go through. Okay, now as I balance my camera in a really bad spot again, we're going to put the earth wire onto this. Okay. There we go. It is lit up. And that's how it's done. Tuck that back in there. We put this back on here. That's that one done. Now if we look up here at the switch, we can see that it's active. And now all we have to do is put the cover back on. This cover here. And we're done. And now our switch is installed. And we'll just test it. Put the key in the ignition, turn the ignition on, and there we go. Off, on, beautiful. Okay, what's next? Hope this helps you somehow. Anyway, if you have any questions, just give me a yell. No worries at all. Bye, guys.